happening in Atlanta. Herb Blanding is there, the director of operations. He's been working hard. He's already there. But hey, football is what it's all going to be about next week. It's the offense-defense All-American Bowl week beginning on Monday the 26th. We got the players all checking in. There's going to be a huge pep rally at the hotel. Then on the 27th, there's going to be practice. On the 28th, there's going to be practice. Then on the 29th, let the games begin. 2 locations in Atlanta. Kennesaw State University in the big Third Bank Stadium, and then right beside it on the second field, we're going to be live streaming from there. So there's going to be more football. Grab the popcorn, grab the Cokes. It's going to be a huge event in Atlanta, Georgia, for the offense-defense 2017 All-American Bowl Week. I am excited. We're going to be there. We're going to be there on Monday. We're going to be bringing you live clips. We're going to be bringing you interviews, updates, practices, everything that's going on. You're going to be able to find it right here on ODTV. But hey, that's enough about the bowl week. Hey, the big game, the 29th, 6 o'clock, ESPN3. You'll be able to see the best high school talent in the country, bar none. We're talking University of Louisville commits. We're talking Michigan commits. We're talking University of Miami. We're talking Texas. We're talking Ohio State. We're talking the University of North Carolina, Mississippi State, Auburn. All these kids coming together in one place for 1 week only. You want to go? You want tickets? Go to o-d.com and click there on Bowl Week ticket information for all the information about the 2017 All-America Bowl Week starting on Monday. But hey, enough from me. Let's meet the 88 players who are going to be representing all over America who are going to be playing in this great game next Thursday. That's right. There are the best of the best right there. We're talking kids from Texas. We're talking kids from Florida. We're talking state champions. We're talking Michigan. We're talking Ohio. We're talking Nevada. Kids from all across the country. They've been going to camps all year long, trying to earn their way to this bowl week. This is the difference in what offense-defense does, besides the fact that they're the only full contact camp in the country. Is the difference is you have to earn your way on. You have to get an invitation. It's not a pay-to-play event. This is where you show up, you put in your effort, you leave it on the field, and you get rewarded by going to Atlanta for the All-American Bowl Week. Now, let's meet the coaches who are going to be doing all the action next week. That's right, the action next week. We're going to start with Ray Sherman, Team National, Team American, Ray Sherman. Talk about a respected name in the NFL circles. He's a coaching legend, folks. He's been around the block. Not only has he been around the block, he built the neighborhood. That's right, Ray Sherman, 27-year NFL veteran coach. He's coached the likes of Dante Culpepper, Warren Moon, Des Bryant, Chris Carter, Jerome Bettis. We're talking Steelers, Cowboys, Vikings, Oilers. This guy, one of the most respected names in all of coaching. Parents, if you're worried about who your son's going to be getting instruction from, let him. It's okay. It's Ray Sherman. Across the field from him, Larry Kirksey. Larry is an NFL veteran with the San Francisco 49ers. He's coached the likes of Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Andre Johnson. He was on the coaching staff for the 1992 University of Alabama national champions. Roll Tide. That's right. So he has been there. These two gentlemen are going to be leading the charge, putting these kids, the best of the best high school football athletes in the country. These two gentlemen are going to be leading the charge, building up to the big game on Thursday, December 29th, 6 o'clock from Third Bank Stadium on Kennesaw State University. Now, let's meet the kids who are going to be playing in this one-of-a-kind 11th annual 2017 All-American Bowl Week. How about some quarterbacks? You want some kids who can sling the ball around? How about Jartavius Whitlow? How about Chris Robinson, Malik Cunningham. You talk about some kids who are going to be to throw the ball around. You talk about some dual threat athletes. How about Jartavius Wilson from Lafayette High School, the Bulldogs in Alabama. He's a 6 foot, 205-pound quarterback. He's going to Auburn. Gus Malzone is doing cartwheels to get this kid on campus. He threw for 2,300 yards, 29 touchdowns this season. Oh yeah, but hold on. He's dual threat. That's right. He's going to run the ball too. He ran for 1,600 yards. So we're talking almost 4,000 yards of offense from one player, 59 touchdowns. He accounts for 330 yards per game of offense for the Lafayette Bulldogs. Gus Malzahn cannot wait to get him there. Auburn had that big rebound there at the end of the season. Going to be playing in a big bowl game coming up. They are excited. In Auburn, they're going to be rolling Toomer's corner as often as possible with Jartavius Whitlow at the controls. Then let's talk about Rodney Hall from Cass Tech in Detroit, Michigan. 6'2", 210 pounds. The Northern Illinois commit led the Technicians to an undefeated season in the Michigan Division I state championship. He directed an offense that averaged over 44 points per game. He can do it with his arm. He can do it with his legs. They're going to be, the footballs are going to be all around Fifth Third Bank Stadium coming up next Thursday for the 2017 All-American game, brought to you by Offense Defense. Who they're going to be handing the ball off to. Let's talk about the running backs for this 2017 game. We're talking Kurt Taylor. We're talking Javon Leake, Morgan Ellison, Latrell Bumpus, Keegan Williams, Saheem Simmons, Michael Warren, and Darius Pittman. I mean, you talk about some kids who can absolutely run the ball, who put the fear in opposing defenses. Let's talk about Kurt Taylor, Newton High School Rams in Covington, Georgia. He's going to the University of Michigan. I even heard that Jim Harbaugh is going to be his Uber driver for his prom. Now, I'm not sure about that, but you can't put anything by Coach Khaki Pants. He is going to take this young man, he's going to mold him, he's going to make him into an elevated, an elite player. 5'9", 200 pounds. He ran for 1,169 yards with 16 touchdowns as a junior. I mean, one of the most highly sought after and coveted running backs in the country is Kurt Taylor from Covington, Georgia. Then you talk about Morgan Ellison from Pickerington Central High School, the Tigers in Pickerington, Ohio. 6 foot, 220 pounds. Bruising running back is Morgan Ellison. He is the Ohio commit. He led the Rams to the state semifinals where they lost to Xavier. You talk about he's fast. He's low to the ground. He's like a bowling ball. When he gets those legs pumping, it reminds me of Roger Craig. You don't want to get in front of him. You just kind of want to push him out of bounds, because when he gets going, he is a load to bring down. Those are your running backs that are going to be in the Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. Let's talk about the wide receivers now. Who are the quarterbacks going to be throwing to? Let's talk about these flight school, the 88 flight school. We've got Charleston Rambo, Jordan Hill, Timothy Nelson, Malik Barkley, Dennis Robinson, Justin Marshall, Kenneth Nelson, Gavin Holmes, Lewis Dorsey, and Chris Miller. I mean, you talk about the fleet of foot. You're talking about big, fast, with nice hands. How about Charleston Rambo from Cedar Hill High School in Cedar Hill, Texas, going to Oklahoma, going up from Bob Stoops, and play for the Sooners in the Big 12 Conference. The 6'2", 170-pound wide receiver, 87 receptions. Are you kidding me? 87 receptions, 1,600 yards receiving, 25 touchdowns. When the ball is in the air, Charleston is going to go get it. You better be a top flight defensive back, because he is a ball hawk. He wants the ball. He led his team to the 6A quarterfinals before losing to eventual state champion DeSoto. And you've heard about that Texas football. It's bigger, it's better. 6A, the best of the best. Bob Stoops and Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator there in Norman, Oklahoma, can't wait to get him on campus in 2017 where he's going to be catching passes from Baker Mayfield. That's right. So that's Charleston Rambo, the Oklahoma commit from Cedar Hill, Texas. Then we'll talk about Justin Marshall, 6'2", 185 pounds. He's going to Louisville. Next year, he's going to be catching balls from the Heisman Trophy winning Lamar Jackson. Can you believe that he's going to go from playing in this game to playing with Lamar Jackson? Can you imagine the plays that Bobby Petrino is going to be able to draw up with Justin Marshall from Georgia Prep in Covington, Georgia? Man, that's like a hotbed right there. We just talked about somebody from Covington, Georgia. But these guys, Justin Marshall, when he gets to Louisville, he's going to immediately elevate the offense for the Louisville Cardinals. Can't wait to see them. We're in North Carolina broadcasting you live. We can't wait to see them when they come to Raleigh to play the NC State Wolfpack next year. Another wide receiver. Let's talk about Lewis Dorsey from Jean Ribaud High School in Jacksonville, Florida. 6'6", 205. He's a dual sport athlete. Not only is he one of the most highly sought after wide receivers in the country, Florida State, Michigan, West Virginia are all wanting his services. He just went on an official visit to the University of Illinois. He's also a shooting guard on the basketball team. So you talk about somebody that can jump. You want a kid, when you throw the ball up, that can go get it. That's Lewis Dorsey from Jean Ribaud High School, the Trojans in Jacksonville, Florida. 6'6" wide receiver. So, okay, so you're a 6-foot defensive back. I got 6 inches on you. 6 inches. That's a lot, folks, and I'm sure he can jump right out of the gym. The next wide receiver you need to keep your eyes on as we continue down towards the 2017 All-American Bowl Week. We're talking about the 88s. Gavin Holmes from Northwest High School in Justin, Texas. 5'11", 178 pounds with speed to burn. Multiple schools are recruiting him, and why? Because he had 83 receptions, over 1,500 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. Folks, he's averaging 130 yards per game in receiving yards. Without a doubt, one of the fastest wide receivers. It reminds me of Randy Jackson. And no, not that Randy Jackson from the Jackson 5. The Texans averaged 42 points per game, and part of that reason was because of Gavin Holmes. So those are your wide receivers. Now, let's talk about your offensive linemen, the big uglies. Going to be rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, and blocking, and letting you see all these skill players. All these skill players that we just talked about. So your offensive linemen, Racavius Chambers, Derek Tangelo, Brian Anderson, Shane Clennon, Cordavian Suggs, Caleb Medina, Grant Miller, Obina Ease, Kedonis Haslam, Preston Mixon, Jordan Carity, Kelvin Aitman Jr., Aiden Brown, Ben Adler, Cole Bentley, Zach Sweeney, Khalil Keith, Putazi, Jordan Reed, Will Farrar, and Kenneth Moten. I mean, we're talking about Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Arkansas, Memphis, Vanderbilt, the Illinois Fighting Illini, Georgia, Virginia Tech, Louisville. All these kids have been recruited by these schools right here. Let's highlight a couple of them for you. Let's talk about Racavius Chambers from Opelika, Alabama. They're in the Plains. 6'3", 275 pounds, man-child. Going to Duke. Coach David Cutcliffe can't wait to get him there. If you watch Duke play this year, you know they need some quarterback protection. But this kid is the real deal. A finished product. Great footwork. Great hands. led the O-line that scored over 500 points this season. They lost, did Opelika in the Alabama 6A state finals. He is a great talent for Coach David Cutcliffe. Can't wait to see Ricavius Chambers on a weekly basis playing for those Duke Blue Devils. The next one, how about Jordan Reed, another player from the Cass Tech up in Detroit Technicians, 6'4", 286 pounds. Folks, you would want to do anything but invite him for dinner because this kid can eat. Michigan State commit. They led the Technicians to the Class 1 Michigan State Championship. Their offense rolled up over 600 points on the way to the state title. You don't think that Mark D'Antoni is ready to get this offensive lineman? You see what Michigan State does. They are old-fashioned smash-mouth football. They are going to be a cut above the rest. They're going to be competing for that Big Ten Eastern Division Championship with Jordan Reed on the field. Next, my favorite name out of all the 88s, Putasi from Desert Pines High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. 6'4", 280 pounds. Yeah, he's Samoan. He's big. He likes to eat. I bet he could cook a pig, too. We know some Samoans. We know how much they love to eat. But a big body in front of Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson. Can you imagine what Bobby Petrino was going to do? We just talked about the wide receiver he's got. Now he's got Putasi. Bobby Petrino continues to accumulate talent there in Louisville. The Cardinals are going to be a force to be reckoned with coming up in the ACC Atlantic Division. Now let's go over and talk about some of your defensive linemen that are going to be playing in Kennesaw, Georgia in the 2017 All-American 88 game. Man, you talk about some kids now. We've got Jim Ford, Nelson Mabansur. I apologize, Nelson. That's the best I can do. Alec Jackson, Alexander Duke, Kevon Bennett, Trayvon Mathis, Troy James, LaShawn Paulino Bell, Taquan Graham, Ben Hutch, Brayon Gaddy, Brandon Gaddy, James Hudson, Jamal Winter, Anthony Graham, Caden McDonald, Brock Hirschberger, and Jalen Twyman. These guys are going to get after it and get after it hard when we get to Kennesaw next week. Let's highlight a couple of these guys. How about Alexander Duke? Bel Air High School in Texas, the Cardinals, 6'3", 235-pound defensive lineman. He's going to Houston to play for Major Applewhite. 31 tackles this year, 3 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 8 quarterback hurries. Can you imagine him on the other side with freshman All-American Ed Oliver? Oh, Nelly, as Keith Jackson used to say. These kids are going to be tough. They're going to be hard to beat. Major Applewhite, congratulations on your getting that gig right there in Houston. You've worked your way up. You're well deserving. We know that you're going to carry on that tradition of the cradle of coaches. Used to always say it was Ohio. Now you look at Houston and what's gone on there in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you can see they're attracting top talent. One of the most fertile recruiting bases in the country is Houston, Texas. But Alexander Duke from Bel Air, Texas, he's going to play for the Cougars. Let's talk about Taquan Graham, another Texas kid. He's going to the University of Texas. He's from Temple High School, 6'3", 255 pounds. He is a beast. Got a big-time motor, 48 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 10 sacks was Taquan Graham. That defense only gave up 137 points in their league contest. Can you imagine? That was just a tremendous defense right there in Temple, Texas. Tom Herman is looking for a defensive player to build around as he takes over the reins of the Longhorns. Well, Taquan Graham, I believe you found your man there, Coach Herman. Let's talk about LaShawn Paulino from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale, one of the best teams in the country. The Raiders were the Florida 7A state champs this year. And LaShawn, 6'4", 235 pounds. Going to Michigan State, Mark D'Antonio has done it again. 40 tackles, 5 sacks. He needs help on that defensive line, and Paulino is going to be a great building block for those rugged Michigan State defenses. You know they like to run the football. They like to smash you in the mouth on defense. Low-scoring games is their calling card, and he's got a great chip right there in LaShawn Paulino. Let's talk about Kevon Bennett, also of St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale. Can you imagine having these guys you're trying to run against in high school? Are you kidding me? No wonder they're the Florida 7A state champs. 6'3", 265 pounds. I hope he likes orange, because he's going to play on a Rocky Top. That's right. He's going to play in Neyland Stadium, 107,000 people. One of the few places where you tailgate on the boat. That's right, you show up to the game on the boat. But this Tennessee commit, 31 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 sacks, just a beast. He and LaShawn Paulino led that team on the defensive front, just shut down opposing offenses. Just think about it, folks. He's 18 years old. He's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get better. Head coach Butch Jones, he cannot wait to get him on campus and start to mold him. That's Kevon Bennett. Now, let's look at the linebackers who are going to be showing up for the game next week in Kennesaw, Georgia. The offense, defense, 2017 All-American Bowl. Let's talk with some stick-stalk linebackers. Leon Huey, Malik Robinson, Titus Curry, Dwayne Chapman, Muhammad Amin, Josh Paul, Mohamed Sanogo, DeMarco Artis, Tyler Bunning, I think. Sorry, man. I apologize, Tyler, if I mispronounced your name. Caleb Oliver, Aubrey Miller, and Tiberius Patterson. Some of the biggest and best linebackers. Let's take a look at a couple of them. How about DeMarco Artis? From Seminole, Florida, the 6'3", 220-pound Florida State commit Jimbo Fisher just continues to rack up talent, championship-level talent. It's going to be another great year. We talked about Louisville and what Bobby Petrino was doing in that Atlantic Division. Watch out, Clemson. Florida State is on their way back. DeMarco Artis is going to be a huge piece of that puzzle in the upcoming years. 17 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks from his linebacker position. He is fast. He's going to hit you, and then he's going to help you up. He brings his lunch pail when he shows up. This is the Seminole, Florida senior. Let's talk about Tyler Dunning, another stud from St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders, the Florida 7A champs. We just talked about the D-line, and boom, here we are with one of the linebackers, Tyler Dunning. 6 foot, 230 pounds of rock hard muscle. Going to Mississippi State. He's going to be the Bulldog. Going to be playing for Dan Mullen in that rough and rugged SEC West. I mean, he's going to be facing the best of the best. He's going to the Grove. He's going to Ole Miss. He's going to the Plains. He's going to Auburn. He's going to be going to Titletown. He's going to Tuscaloosa. All the big games he's going to play in when he goes to Mississippi State. 23 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. Tyler Dunning was a man among boys for that St. Aquinas Raiders team. Let's talk about Caleb Miller from Oakland High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, one of my former hometowns. They lost in the state championship game of the Tennessee State playoffs, but the Mississippi State commit Dan Mullen does it again. 6'3", 205 pounds, going to Stark Vegas. Scored 2 touchdowns on fumble recoveries. So that tells you he's got some speed in the linebacker. So he's going to be able to cover the whole field. He's going to stuff the run. He's going to break out in coverage and be able to cover those running backs and tight ends. He's the full package, is Caleb Oliver from Oakland High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, let's look at the defensive back in the no-fly zone that's going to be Fifth Third Bank Stadium next Thursday for the 2017 Offense-Defense All-American Bowl, the 88s. We're talking about Trayshawn Smith, Josh Thompson, Caleb Rozar, Thabo McQuaney, Terrence Carter, Taven Jackson, Latavius Brenny, Kobe Boyce, Dorian Hall, Matt Hankins, Jarrell White, Gentry Bonds, Jeffrey Lubin, Rodney Owens, Makai Lee, and Bryce Jackson. I mean, we're talking Louisville, Texas, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Memphis, South Carolina, the U, Texas, University of Kentucky, Iowa, Florida State, and Missouri. These guys are going to be flying all over the field. They're going to be saying, not on my watch. That's right. Let's talk about Latavius Brenny from Mater Academy Charter High School in Hialeah, Florida. He's going to play for the U, baby. He's going to be playing for Mark Rick at the University of Miami Hurricanes. 6'2", 185 pounds, 4.5 40 speed. He's fast, he can cover, and he's not afraid to hit you. That's Latavius Brenny going to the University of Miami. How about Kobe Boyce, the Lake Dallas Falcons right there in Dallas, Texas, playing in the shadow of the star. He's going to the University of Texas. He's going just down the road, going to be playing for Tom Herman. 6'1", 175 pounds, 22 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 interception. Kobe Boyce, you watch out for Texas, folks. Charlie Strong left him loaded, and Tom Herman is going to build on that foundation, and he's got a diamond in the rough. He's got one of the best right there in Kobe Boyce. Let's talk about Josh Thompson from Nacogdoches, Texas. The Dragons, Texas commit, 6 foot, 182 pounds. He was a bright spot on his 4-6 team right there, but he played in the heartland. He played in Texas. He's used to playing under the big lights, and there's no lights bigger than Austin, Texas when he goes to play for Tom Herman next season. That's your no-fly zone right there. Now, let's talk about the kickers, the guys who are going to be hoping to flip some field position when we get there next week in the 2017 Offense-Defense All-American Bowl. We got Mason Dillard, and then we've got Jordan Stout. These 2 kids, they are being recruited by some of the best schools in the country. We're talking Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia Tech. Justin Fuentes doing a great job for taking over for Frank Beamer. And then you got Mississippi State, University of Alabama, Birmingham. These kids can kick it, they can punt it, and they are going to be your kickers for the 2017 All-American Bowl game coming to you next week. All right, folks, we've covered all 88 All-Americans. Those kids are going to be who you're going to see, who you're going to be rooting for. We've covered some of the players to watch. Are you going to watch? ESPN 3, 6 o'clock come Thursday the 29th. Again, all the activities get started on Monday the 26th when the teams check in. And they're going to be practicing at Lake Point, the Perfect Game Complex there in Kennesaw, Georgia, starting on the 27th. 2 days of practice, the 27th and 28th. All kinds of activities. If you want to come see the game, don't sit home and watch it on TV. Come see us in Kennesaw, Georgia. Go to o-d.com for all the ticket information and all the itineraries for the bowl week. Not only are the games in the big stadium from Fifth Third Bank Stadium going to be broadcast, but we're going to be broadcasting the games from the side field as well. So you'll be able to see all the games. So you better go stock up now on the hamburgers, the hot dogs, the ribs, the chicken, the wings. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Go get that cooler full of your favorite drink. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Gatorade and Offense Defense. So All-American Bowl Week, the 2017 All-American Bowl Week starts Monday. So what's going to be under your Christmas tree? You better go ask Santa right now for some tickets to the All-American game on Thursday the 29th from 5th Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia, on the campus of Kennesaw State University. The best of the best are going to be in your backyard. Come see us. That's right, Kennesaw State University. All week next week we're going to be in Marietta, Atlanta. You'll not only be able to see these kids, but also the kids from Washington, the kids from Alabama are going to be there playing in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 3 o'clock on New Year's Eve in the opening game of the college football playoff. But hey, there's your 88, folks. There's your reveal. Hopefully I mentioned your name, and if I got it wrong, I apologize. Hit me up. I'll take a selfie with you. I want to get it right. I'll come to an interview during bowl week, because if I made a mistake, I am sorry, because you kids are much better players than I am a talker. But I got the gig. So, hey, for Offense Defense, for the 2017 All-American Bowl Week, coming to you live next week, Kennesaw, Georgia. Be there or be square. The best football in the country is going to be in Atlanta area next week. So for Offense Defense, I'm Billy Mack. It's been my pleasure to be your host tonight. We look forward to seeing you on the sideline and on the field.